Good evening, everyone. This is the meeting of the Raleigh Board of Selectmen for December 10, 2018. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll have public comment from 7:10 to 7:15. I'm going to move on to general business on the second page of our agenda. I'll take up general business number 1, which is a letter of resignation from Charles Costello from the Board of Library Trustees. In his letter, he writes, "It is with regret that I resign from my Raleigh Library trustee position with 18 months remaining. I have recently retired from my full-time employment and have filled that new available time with numerous volunteer activities that are very meaningful to me. These commitments, along with part-time marine resource consulting, make it difficult to participate in library responsibilities. I would hope a suitable replacement can be found to fill the remainder of my term." Someone want to make a motion to accept the resignation with thanks?
With regrets.
I'll second that.
Thanks for his service.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. General business number 2 is a letter of resignation from Reserve Police Officer Jeffrey French, who writes, "I have made a decision to resign my position as Reserve Patrolman for the town of Raleigh. My recent promotion to Deputy Chief will limit my availability. I will make arrangements with Captain Sedgwick to turn in my equipment. My resignation will be effective immediately." Motion to accept the resignation?
Motion.
Can we just,
With regrets?
second, okay. Can I just mention, Mr. Chairman, that Jeff French has been Reserve Patrolman off and on for many years, well qualified. He's been a great leader in the police department over there for the younger reserve officers that we've been hiring, and it's sorry to see him go, but I think we should, at the same time, in the same letter, congratulate him for his promotion to deputy chief. He's a good man, done a good job over there, and he did a good job for us.
So where is he a deputy chief at?
Ipswich.
Oh, okay. Well, certainly. Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. General business number 3 is review State Ethics Commission disclosure signed by Christopher Cassidy. The Board of Selectmen needs to approve this exemption. We have done this in the past for other employees who work for both the police and fire departments. Please vote to authorize this exemption and authorize me to sign it.
Give a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to authorize me to sign it has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. General business number 4 is a request from the Board of Water Commissioners to appoint Ryan McDonald to the position of Distribution Utility Maintenance Laborer.
I'll give you the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion to appoint Ryan McDonald has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Moving on to new business. New business number 1, which is to discuss concerns over excessive truck traffic on Dodge Road. The town has received an email from a resident and his neighbors expressing concern, the resident's name is Scott Stone, over the increase in the volume of truck traffic on Dodge Road. This agenda item was circulated to the building inspector, town planner, highway surveyor, and police chief. There seems to be 2 factors behind the volume of trucks driving on Dodge Road, and I would also add on Weathersfield Street. Construction activity at 623 Weathersfield Street, and that's the first reason. The second reason is Dodge Road is being used as an alternate access way to avoid the Route 1 and Route 133 intersection. Building Inspector Ken Ward confirmed that there were a large number of trucks going to a solar facility construction site at 623 Weathersfield Street. Town Planner Kirk Baker said there were special permit conditions dealing with the construction traffic pertaining to the solar facility. As to Police Chief Scott Dumas has outlined the steps the town needs to follow to limit through truck traffic based on a 2.5-ton weight restriction. Chief Dumas also provided a manual from the state that outlines the steps a municipality needs to follow to limit truck traffic on local streets. Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow recalled that a former highway surveyor said that trucks could not be restricted on Dodge Road and Weathersfield Street because the town received federal FEMA funds to rebuild the Dodge Road Bridge, Batchelder Brook Bridge, and Taylor Bridge back in 2006. However, he could not find any documentation to verify this, so he will provide assistance to the Board of Selectmen on restricting truck traffic if the boards decide to do so. I'll read the email from the concerned resident, Scott Stone. I am a resident of Dodge Road, and I'm writing with concerns that my neighbors and I have about truck traffic on Dodge Road. Over the past 2 years, we have experienced an increase in trucks cutting through as a way to get to 133. The additional construction on Weathersfield Street has significantly increased the number of tractor trailers on the road. I was interested in possibly discussing this in further detail with someone to see if, one, it is possible to block through traffic, and two, the steps needed to make it happen. I appreciate your attention to this matter, as with increased construction in the area, it is felt that the issue will only get worse. One thing in our packet is which I have not had an opportunity to read yet, is I guess you call it an article from the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission on managing truck traffic on local streets. It's about 8 or 10 pages long. There seems to be a lot of information in here. I think it's maybe something we should all look at and see if it's helpful at all. As a resident on Weathersfield Street, there's no doubt that truck traffic has gone up, and all traffic has gone up. And I think some of that traffic is cut through from, people are cutting through from Route 1 to 133 or vice versa. There's also no doubt that a lot of this, the truck traffic in particular, is related to the new construction or the recent construction that's been going on in the area. Particularly, there are 4 or 5 houses on Dodge Road that have recently been built. There's a solar facility, and they just recently started construction. There's a lot of truck traffic associated with that. And there was land clearing at the Taylor Lane development a year or so ago, which has temporarily subsided. But as soon as that development is permitted, you can bet that there'll be a lot of additional truck traffic. I'm not sure what the board can do about that. I mean, if the development is approved and roads have to be built, you're going to have trucks. The planning board can limit the hours that the trucks go in, but they can't prevent the trucks from going in. As far as cut-throughs, I think that's another issue, and I'd like to, personally, I'd like to have time to read this article from the Pioneer Valley Commission and see what they suggest in terms of what a town can do to limit that, and then maybe, discuss this again at a later meeting.
I think that would be a good idea. I would also comment that I live up on Bennett Hill Road, and there's construction at the end on the Central Street end of the road, and there's a lot of heavy traffic, truck traffic, because they're hauling a lot of earth out of
Right.
that construction site.
Whenever you get new houses or whatever, anything new, any kind of new development, you're gonna get trucks for a while, and they're very annoying, and they start early in the morning, and occasionally they leave a mess on the road with mud and stuff like that, but,
Yeah, we had the same problem years ago when they built the residences there at the golf course.
Right.
A lot of complaints. We ended up putting a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit on Dodge Road going out to 133. As long as there's construction, trucks are needed for the construction, there's no
Right.
way we can stop the construction. I did read in the town planner, it said that they have restricted the hours
Right.
somewhat, so it's just during the daytime, and other than that, I'm not sure at this point what we can do. But yeah, I think we need to take a look at the article and see if there's something long-term, but
Right.
We may be
generally,
able
if
to
you,
restrict the speed limit of the truck. But I think I'll reach out to Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, see if they have
Sure,
any
that'd be a good
information.
idea.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I guess you could put no through traffic, a sign saying no through traffic, but.
I think you have to have alternative
end,
ways of going, and
But
it's
that may
complicated.
invite people to cut through. I don't know. I'm not sure really what the
Well-
best thing to do.
One of the problems is people coming down in the morning, because we had this a couple of years ago, down in Newbury Road, and
Yeah,
there was a problem with people cutting
Leslie
through.
Road.
Leslie Road. And that was, in the morning, people coming down, getting backed up at Route 1, and what they would do is they're coming down from New Hampshire, okay, and they're trying to get to Cape Ann, okay, and they come down 133, and they'll take a side street, and they'll go down all the way to the Cumberland Farms and Ipswich, and come out that way to try to get, because of the bottleneck here. So once somebody learns, a back road and how they can, cut down their time, they're gonna use it. over
well, everybody
and
has
over again.
GPSs now that give you alternative ways of getting around a bottleneck, so.
Yeah, and I mean, and they'll come
That
down
hurts.
over Glen Street, and they'll come down through, from Georgetown, they'll come up through Weathersfield Street, and using, once they learn the shortcut.
If it's a shortcut, yeah, right. If
This
it's
is like
gonna
a
cut
fishing-
down on their
This is
time.
like in fishing grounds where everybody keeps it a secret. Once they find out, they
Yeah,
tell
right.
everybody, yeah.
Sir, you had
Yes,
something to
hi,
say?
my name is Scott Stone.
Oh,
Row your
thanks for
email.
coming.
So this isn't just about just the construction stuff.
Right.
This has been going on at least for 2 years. I live at the very end of Dodge Road on that Long Hill Dodge Road corner. Last year, we had a truck come through that ripped all the power lines, all the telephone and cable lines down.
Really?
And they take up well over 3/4 of the road. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic there, a lot of people walk their dogs around there. The summertime, you can at least get off the road. Wintertime's coming, and with the snowbanks and stuff, that just shrinks the road,
Yeah, I know
so
it.
they're the only ones. Just this past week, I counted 4 trucks that came by, not related to the construction at
Yep.
all.
No, I agree with you. It's not just the construction.
Yeah.
It's just an ongoing problem.
I just
and-
wanted to make sure that you guys knew that it
Yeah.
wasn't the
No, it-
construction. I mean, that brought it to a head,
Yeah,
because it was 6 or 7 trucks a day at least.
right.
coming through.
No,
Yeah, there's
that's
this-
why I think we need to look into the issue of just trying to discourage that
Right.
cut-throughs in some way and see what can be done. Because it's not just construction. Construction
no.
is a temporary condition that'll eventually will go away, but
Right,
this is a problem that's ongoing, so, yeah, I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you.
Okay,
And I can agree with you that there are a lot of walkers, because I'm up there frequently for the golf course, and there are a lot of people walking through the neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood to walk through.
Well, and it's a 20-mile-an-hour zone for a reason.
I'm one of those walkers further down on Weathersfield Street,
Yeah.
and, I walk my dog all the time, and we're always running back and forth, believe me, to try to get out of the way. It's not easy. Okay, well, public comment until 7:20. Bernie?
Well, this is a public comment, so is this item closed? I don't
No,
know.
no, go ahead.
So, public comment, well, we've had a spate of car thefts and general, and the theft of packages from doors, and I wondered if there, presumably the police are involved, but nobody has heard anything about the ongoing investigation. And this evening I saw somebody walking west on Weathersfield Street in the dark, kind of oddly in terms of it being so late, with a backpack. And I just think we need heightened kind of police visibility. I don't know. Again, it's a big town, a lot of roads, but the problem is, seems to be escalating because nothing has actually happened, or no progress is being articulated. That's my own comment.
If you
Part of
see-
it's ongoing package stealing seems to be going big time in all our surrounding communities and cities and towns, and I mean, just post office, FedEx, UPS, they're dropping the packages outside, people are working all day.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's much we can do about that, other than keep an eye on your neighbor's house. If you see a neighbor getting a package, you know they're not home, either put it up by their door or take it in for them. People should be encouraged to have their packages sent to residents or offices where there are people that can accept the package. There's not a lot we can do. There's usually a couple of cruises out at a time. They do the best they can to get around. As far as the breaks at night, I mean, the chief has put out, lock your cars, keep an eye on things. Once again, keep an eye on your house and your neighbor's houses whenever you can. And it's a matter of the public having high rate of watching their neighborhood, and anything suspicious, call the police department. They'll respond, and they do the best they can. But this time of year especially, it's a real problem. Now that it gets dark early, people aren't watching quite as heavily as they used to. Obviously, the package things are a real problem, but
Kurt?
Curtis Turner, Weathersfield Street, just commenting on that item. It seems to me that there have been stories either in the report or on Rowley Talks on the internet that there were a spate of these kinds of things happening on the north end of 1A, the south end of 1A, and again on the far end of Weathersfield Street. I think it would be helpful if the police would consider putting out a town-wide blurb on the alarm system thing on the telephones to indicate when those things happen, or they seem to be grouping, and just to encourage people to be on the lookout that way.
Thank you.
I would add, if you see something, say something, call the police. If you see a car suspicious, take the registration, call the police, okay? We're the eyes of the community.
Matt Grenier, 476 Weathersfield Street. On that issue, could you have directed patrols specific to Weathersfield Street, where that seems to be the predominance of the incidents?
the chief is aware, and he, believe me, he's out, there's people out there as best he can, but understanding there's a limited number of patrols, and a lot of times there's a lot of activity going on in town. They're doing the best they can. That's why it's
Yeah.
up to citizens to really keep their eyes open and
I think the
watch things.
police presence on Weathersfield and Hillside in that area is pretty good. I mean, because I see cruisers all the time. I mean, I don't know how they could have a more intensive presence.
Again, if you see something suspicious, call the police. Take registration down.
Want a motion to postpone?
Okay, yeah, motion to table.
I'll second
Yes.
that.
Motion to tables been made and seconded. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, could you please make an announcement, there is a sign-up sheet circulating, I'm not sure where it is, for anybody in attendance.
There's a sign-up sheet circulating. There it is. Okay, new business number 2 is to review the proposed redesign of Weathersfield Street / Taylor Lane. The members of the board will remember that maybe, I want to say a couple months ago, we voted to authorize the developer of the Taylor Lane development to come up with a concept plan for a reconfiguration of the intersection between Weathersfield Street and Taylor Lane, and one specifically that eliminates the dangerous curve of Weathersfield Street right after the YMCA cabin. And this is what the developer's traffic engineer has come up with. This does not need to be voted on tonight. It's still at this point only a concept plan. It's yet to be thoroughly vetted by the planning board, but I just wanted to put this on the agenda so the board members would be aware of it. So essentially what this does is to turn the existing curve, which is, as I said, I think is very dangerous, into a T intersection with stop signs and crosswalks. So this will help to discourage cut-throughs that we've been talking about, because it'll force traffic to stop, to slow down and stop, both eastbound and westbound traffic, and it'll make that corner, which I think is very dangerous. And there's actually been 2 serious accidents at that corner in the last year or 2. Will make that corner much safer. So this is just for informational purposes tonight.
Thank you.
Anyone
Good
have-
idea.
I think it's a great
Yes.
idea. So this is what it would look like. I'll pass this around if people want to look at it.
That's to the west of the right-hand curve, right? In other words, the driveway comes out right into that curve. This is,
Yeah.
this is the right-hand curve is over here, and you go around the corner.
Well, no, the right-hand curve would be.
Oh, is this Weathersfield?
Yeah,
I was confused as to
Yeah, no,
where this was, what
This
was
is,
coming
this is
from
from
what.
Route 1, okay? And so you can see the existing
Oh, I
roadway.
see, they're cutting out that big
is-
curve and making it
is
a,
indicated by these
Okay.
lines here, so they'd just be eliminating that curve.
okay. I understand now, thank you.
Yep.
We have a 7:50.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay, so the budget's here. I get it.
Bernie?
This inside corner here, who owns that land? And is it possible to get a path that kind of cuts that corner?
To get a what?
A footpath,
Like a sidewalk?
a sidewalk?
Well, there's no other sidewalk down there.
It's town-owned land. It's within our right-of-way, so.
Because that would relieve at least any build-up of pedestrian traffic. If there was a path that allowed the pedestrians to kind of cut across that corner and keep them out of the street, basically.
Well, just understand, there's no other sidewalks in that area, and,
Yeah.
you know, if they're walking down there, I mean, it's fine, they can cut across there, but I don't know.
But,
Just
yeah.
to put a 50-foot sidewalk to nowhere is kind of like, I'm not sure what it'll do.
But, you know, the board with jurisdiction over this proposal is primarily the planning board, so if you have ideas about how to improve on this concept plan, I would encourage anyone to attend the next planning board meeting on the Taylor Lane development. Kurt?
Curtis Turner again. I'm on the Conservation Commission. That property corner is under a wetlands violation order at the moment. And because there was some work done there.
Oh, really?
That should have been done without permitting. And the property owner is working with the Concom to resolve that amicably.
okay.
But, just as another point of information.
Okay, thank you. Is Mr. Lee here?
Always.
Paul Lees, okay. Okay, we'll take up your appointment. This is an appointment with Paul Lees to discuss his request for a permit to hunt on certain town property. Mr. Lees is here tonight to discuss a request to hunt on town property pursuant to the town's hunting general bylaw. His original request is attached, and the hunting bylaw is attached. The property Mr. Lees is requesting to hunt on is under the care and custody of the Rowley Conservation Commission. The Concom approved the request with conditions during their December 4th, 2018 meeting. The Concom conditions are outlined in their December 6th memo. Mr. Lee's request was also sent to the police chief, the fire chief, and the highway surveyor for review. The highway surveyor did not have any comments. The board will need to discuss the request with Mr. Lee and make a determination on his request. So you had originally requested permission to hunt with both bow and arrow and rifle or firearm, right?
Correct.
And okay. The Concom, as I said, has discussed that request because this is conservation land. So this land is actually under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission, which is why I referred it to them. Kurt?
Like, just for the information of the Board of Selectmen, the Concom voted 4-3 to support the application. Everybody was impressed with Mr. Lee's qualifications as a hunter and had no problems with that per se, but the minority opinion on the Conservation Commission ranged in terms of reasons with regard to general concern about the proximity of homes in Rowley and the increase in homes in general and potential for further permit applications. And in my particular case, although I'm not against hunting, I felt that Police Chief Dumas's recommendation that the town put something in the town meeting to ban all hunting in town land made sense.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, as I said, the Concom has sent a memo to the Board of Selectmen on this particular issue, so outlining a number of conditions for the issuance of a hunting permit. So I'll read that memo. Please be advised that the Conservation Commission met Tuesday, December 4th, 2018, and deliberated on the above subject permission to hunt by Mr. Paul Lees. He was in attendance and addressed the commissioners. At the public meeting, Mr. Lees revised his request to seek permission to hunt on 2 conservation areas only, map 6, parcel 19, lot A, which is off of Ellsworth Road, and abutting property at map 5, parcel 9, lot 10, which is off of Ice Pond Road. I guess Mr. Lees amended your request to bow hunting only. Is that correct, Mr. Lees?
It is.
Okay. Archery and to hunt from an elevated tree stand. The commission voted to grant permission with those stipulations, as well as compliance with the Commonwealth's hunting rules and regulation. The commission, in requesting compliance with established rules, has required submittal of signed authorization from dwelling owners or occupants within the 500-foot zone occurs on conservation land as expressed in the following section, which is a citation of mass law, which says that hunting can't be done on land of another within 500 feet of any dwelling or building in use, except as authorized by the owner or occupant thereof. So the memo further points out that using the town's mapping program, the Conservation Office offers the following list of adjacent structures where a 500-foot radius extends onto the specified conservation land. And there's a list of 13 residences in Rowley that would be within 500 feet of portions of these particular lots that we're talking about. So, Kurt, maybe you can clarify this. It seems to me that the Conservation Commission is recommending or stipulating that before anyone can hunt on that parcel, they need to get permission from those 13 residences?
If all those 13 residences are with regard to those 2 parcels, I'm not clear on that, but I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes, okay.
You heard of that, Mr. Chairman?
Could you hold on for just a second? Yeah, sure you can. I just want to finish this memo. The 500-foot zone from the above listed structures covers a significant portion of the acreage of both parcels. The Commission requests the documentation of the authorization be submitted to the office to demonstrate compliance prior to the hunting taking place. And as I said, there was a memo from the Chief of Police who recommended against the issuance of the hunting license, but I think his memo was in reference to the use of firearms to hunt. And now he doesn't really say whether he'd be opposed to, doesn't specifically say, I don't think, whether he'd be opposed to authorizing bow and arrow hunters. So we're not talking about firearms anymore. Okay, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I went and spoke with Chief Dumas before the Conservation Commission meeting because I had read his memo or his email about the situation, and it was based upon that I reflected and chose not to go forward with a hunting permission that involved firearms. I take issue with Mr. Turner's in the Conservation Commission's reference about the 13 abutting property owners within the 500-foot range. it's state law that you cannot discharge either a rifle or a shotgun within 500 feet of a dwelling. And so I question why, essentially, I mean, requiring approval from all 13 would render the bylaw meaningless, because it would only take one person to object to that, and the applicant, myself, wouldn't be able to hunt and wouldn't get permission to hunt. My point is that the law is the law, I know the law, and I'm going to stay 500 feet from those homes. I'm going to be hunting with a bow and arrow. The chief's concerns about the 500-foot setback deal with firearms, for good reason. You're talking about apples and oranges when you talk about a shotgun versus a bow and arrow. And, you know, I respectfully disagree with the Conservation Commission about getting permission from 13 abutting property owners to hunt on the 2 parcels. If I'm in compliance with the state law and 500 feet away, I can't question why I would need their permission to comply with state law.
Just to clarify state law, it seems to me that the prohibition of 500 feet from any dwelling or building in use would apply to both bow and arrow as well as firearms, but that's just a clarification.
It's both.
Anyone, are there any of the 13 residents here that would care to comment on this, or anyone in general? Okay, well,
Mr. Chairman, I'm just in general opposed. I mean, after this request came in, I believe we had another request for someone else requesting to hunt on town property. That isn't being addressed tonight, but my attitude is that once we open the door on this, I've had people from outside of town ask me if Rowley allows hunting on town property, and I basically told them no. I just think the number of residents, these parcels are relatively small. I just think that I live up on Newbury Road and go Boxford Road, and there's cars parked all over the place with people hunting in the state forest up there. I think if we're going to hunt, allow it in the state forest. But these are 2 individual parcels within basically surrounded by residences and residential type property. I just feel that we're opening a door that I don't want to open anyway. So I'm going to vote no for that reason. Nothing against Mr. Lees; he's well qualified. Obviously, he has put a lot of time and effort into this, but I just feel that there's plenty of hunting areas in the state forests and land around that could be done on without opening town property up. And as we see, there's more and more parcels being built on, for better or worse. And it's just when I moved to town, there was 3,000 people. Now there's over 6,000, and I just think we open that door of it's no longer such a rural community as it used to be.
yeah, no, when I moved here 30 years ago, it was fairly common to hear guns going off in the woods, but now the areas where people used to hunt are all houses, and I think it's just made it very difficult. And in a way, it's too bad, because the deer are definitely overpopulated in town, and they've been causing accidents lately. People have been running into deer on Route 1. I saw one on the side of the road not too long ago that had just been hit by a pickup truck, so it was a good-sized deer. So they're a safety problem, but regardless, I think a lot of people would be concerned if they thought there was hunting going on behind their houses in the woods. So, you know, we haven't advertised this to the public. It's not a public hearing, and I think people might get very upset to find out that hunting license had been issued for a parcel behind their house. So I'm going to vote against it too. Anyone else?
I would just reading through Chief Dumas's email, and he says that I would suggest this and all future requests be denied and consider a bylaw change prohibiting hunting on town owned property. I share his concerns.
And I understand your position too, and I wish we could approve this, but it's just the reality. I don't think we can. There's too many houses closely, located together, and too many different opinions on the subject. I think it would be opening a can of worms to start issuing hunting licenses.
Is the town going to eradicate the bylaw?
Well, we might. Kurt?
One more thing that our conservation agent wanted me to mention with regard to a possible bylaw on the subject, and that is that he's concerned that at some point the deer herd might be such that it would cause significant overgrazing with regard to the Dodge Reservation, and there should be a provision for an exemption to allow a controlled hunt if that was deemed advisable, as an exception to a bylaw.
I got a deer come through my property, well, twice, a week before last, and it been the left hind leg, it's limping all through my property, so it was hit by a car. And, yes, there is an overpopulation of deer in Raleigh. I think we'll have to look at a controlled hunt at some time in the future. I don't know if anybody's ever hit a deer, but you'll total your car if you hit that deer.
When I spoke with Chief Dumas, he told me that a cruiser had hit a buck
Hit a buck?
this fall.
Yeah, I have a friend who ran into a deer on Route 1 too, so, you know, it's happening, no doubt about it. Okay, we'll make a motion?
I'll give you a motion to deny the proposal, or the request.
Seconds? You need a
Second.
second? Okay, the motion to deny the request has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, new business number 3, which is to discuss a letter from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation regarding the intersections of Route 1 and Central Glen Streets and Route 1 and Weathersfield Street. We received a letter from the Mass Department of Transportation about these intersections, so the letter's pretty significant, so I'll read it. Dear Ms. Egan, thank you for your October 4th letter to Secretary Pollock expressing concern about the potential impacts to the intersections of Route 1 with Central Street, Glen Street, and with Weathersfield Street associated with a proposed residential development. Mass DOT was not aware of the proposed 60-unit subdivision off of Weathersfield Street. If the development abuts or directly accesses a state highway, it will require a highway access permit through our District 4 office. Depending on the overall size and the scope of the multi-phase development, the project may also require review under the Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act. Mass DOT encourages the town to consider the impacts of the project and feasible mitigation measures as part of its local site and related permitting process review. If a traffic impact study is required as part of those local reviews, Mass DOT would appreciate a copy of the study so that we can consider projected traffic volumes and trip destinations. As an update to my September 21 letter to Board of Selectmen Chairman Pierce regarding the intersection, Mass DOT completed the traffic count data collection on October 10th. The data is being used by our District 4 office to complete an analysis to determine if the minimum warranting conditions for traffic signals are satisfied at either intersection. In addition, Mass DOT crews have completed updating the existing flashing warning beacons to new LED housings with reflective back plates to enhance visibility. Mass DOT crews have also refreshed the stop line pavement markings and installed new stop pavement marking legends and replaced the existing stop and stop ahead signs on the side street approaches at both intersections. Finally, Mass DOT's traffic and safety unit is nearing completion of the qualitative safety analysis that will evaluate the safety performance of the intersections to assist with considering long-term solutions. So this letter, in my view, is significant primarily because it shows that the State Highway Department has completed the traffic count data collection for those two intersections, which is a first step toward determining whether traffic signalization is going to be required, so it's a step in the right direction.
There's no indication as to how long it would take.
No,
for
they
them
don't
to-
indicate, but it shows that they're working on it, so,
Yes.
you know, like I said, it's a step in the right direction. Okay, new business number 4 is to discuss a memo from Conservation Agent Brent Baselak regarding conditions number 33 and 34 of the wetlands permit issued by the Conservation Commission to Rowley Solar LLC Maven Revocable Trust. Okay. The conservation agent sent the selectmen a memo last week alerting the selectmen to conditions 33 and 34 of a wetlands permit issued by the Concom to Rowley Solar LLC. These two conditions involve the landowner permit holder deeding 7.6 acres to the town in lieu of paying the balance of the wetlands permit fee, which is $43,460. That's the balance of the fee. The wetlands application fee was actually $64,500. The landowner permit holder has paid $21,000 towards the total fee. The landowner permit holder has offered to donate 7.6 acres of land in lieu of paying the fee, which the Concom voted to accept with the stipulations outlined in conditions 33 and 34 of the permit. The board needs to consider whether and under what circumstances are they willing to accept the land. We've consulted with our town council about this, and he says that reasonable conditions might include a satisfactory plan, a draft deed, evidence of good title, and an appraisal report showing the land is worth at least as much as the foregone fees of $43,000. If the board were to go forward with this land, town council has advised that this would require a town meeting vote to accept the land because the fee is deposited in the general fund, not the conservation land fund. So the issue, broadly speaking, is whether the town should accept this proposed conveyance of 7.6 acres, which is being proposed in lieu of payment of the conservation fee of $43,000. It seems to me that we have two options. Option one would be to insist that an appraisal report is submitted by the landowner showing that the land is worth at least as much or approximately as much as the foregone fees. I don't feel that we can approve this without an appraisal report, because without an appraisal report we have no idea whether the land being offered, whether the value of the land being offered is anywhere near the amount of the foregone fees. And the second option, I believe, would be just to deny the offer to provide this land to the town.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
The wetland application fee of $64,500. I know Mr. Turner's here from the Conservation Commission. This figure floored me, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know how we get that figure, where it comes from, or can it maybe explain how come it's $64,000? I've never heard of a fee like that for conservation issues. And then the second thing I'd like to know is, have other deals been made in the past, particularly the last 2 or 3 years, for land swap versus foregoing fees that should be paid into the town's general fund? Obviously, at this stage of the game, we're looking for whatever money we can get in the general fund, but I'd be curious to know what how the fee structure comes about, and if there's been previous letting the fees go for a swap of land.
Yes, if I may, To answer the first question, it's a technical calculation based on the town's bylaw in terms of the area and the width and the length, and so it pretty much depends upon the parcel size and configuration and the extent to which there are buildings on it. Other than, I can't get into more detail on that, but without having the actual calculation in front of me. To answer your second question, there is at least one other outstanding one at the moment for a much smaller amount. It will have to be reconsidered in the context of tonight's discussion on Newbury Road, I think it's 50 Newbury Road. But I don't think that it's particularly controversial, but I can't recall whether there are others under the town bylaw that go back further. There have been circumstances not involving the town bylaw where there have been minor give-ups of fees, I believe, for significant donations of land to the town.
Like I said, I've never heard of a $64,000 fee. I mean, I know the building inspector gets a lot of money for his fees for new commercial construction, but I mean, to me, it just seems excessive. I don't know if it's the bylaw says it, but it's news to me for sure.
Well, I think it's I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Kurt, but I think the primary way it's calculated is impact on the wetlands and with the buffer zone, and it's actually meant to, the intent of it is to discourage people from moving and building in the buffer zone. Would that be a correct characterization?
That's inherent in the purpose, but again, I think a lot of it depends on the scale of the project and the size of the acreage involved. It's a technical calculation, and I don't think the commission members, taken as a whole, feel that it's particularly fair in terms of the way it's done. And what is needed is a new look at the bylaw and put the fee structure in regulations.
Because the other thing is, Mr. Chairman, that I assume where this was Chapter 61 forestry land, I believe.
Yes.
So they have to go back 5 years, pay 5 years
Right.
back
We're gonna
taxes
get to
and
that
so on and so
next, yeah.
forth. But I mean, so we're talking a lot of money here for the landowner, and not that I'm sympathetic in particular to the plan to build out there, but it just, we're talking some large amounts of money here that it's kind of crazy as far as I'm concerned, but that's the way the law is. That's what it is.
Well,
I think we need an explanation. I think we should take a look at the bylaw and see if there's something that, we obviously don't want to encourage people to build on wetlands, but on the other hand, it's, I assume that the construction that's going to go on out there is going on already, must not be in the wetlands. I don't know.
well, it's not, I believe we're talking about the buffer zone, right? Not the wetlands, but the buffer zone.
The portion that is being proposed for deeding to the town contains significant, wet areas.
Right.
But the part that's being built on is on dry land, right?
Pretty much, yes, yeah, but it's all been conditioned and.
Right, no, I'm sure.
In terms of the wetlands rules and regulations, it's not a problem that way, in terms of the total parcel and the solar facility.
Okay, well, the issue, Bernie, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems to me there's two issues going on. One is that the permit, a large amount of money, is for the overall development. And so the 7.6 acres is just put to one side. So the permit size of 60,000 plus is for the development as a whole, which obviously includes some wetland. Then the issue is, okay, the balance is $40,000, and the give back is 7.6 acres of wetlands,
Right.
which by definition people can't build on, and the value of that wetland is going to be.
Well,
minimal.
in fairness, I don't think we know that all 7.6 acres is
Well-
wetland. Purchase at significant wetlands. They may have some upland, we just don't know. And that would be,
Right.
that would be the point of hiring an appraiser to
So
put a value on it.
Correct.
But even if the appraiser puts a value close to $40,000, is it really worth $40,000? I mean, I really don't know. So that's the issue at this point tonight, to decide whether the town wants to accept this land, with the condition that we have an appraisal. As I said, I think we have to have an appraisal. We can't do it without an appraisal. But that doesn't mean we have to do it even with an appraisal, so. My feeling is that this is probably mostly wetlands, if not entirely wetlands, and it's probably not very valuable land. And even if appraiser were to tell us it's worth $40,000, you probably wouldn't get someone to buy it, to pay $40,000 for it. So I'm gonna vote no against the town accepting this property. Anyone else?
I concur with what you said.
Yeah, I just think that at a time when the town is looking at, another large school budget coming in, and, town money's being at a premium, even though the economy's doing well, I think for the Conservation Commission to have gone ahead and made this deal without even consulting anybody else. I mean, the first I heard of this was when we got the letters complaining about it, and I just think that the Conservation Commission or the Conservation Commission agent, knowing that he was dealing with a sum of money, or they were dealing with a sum of money this high, that goes directly into the town's treasury, I think there should have been a lot more discussion before this agreement was written, beyond whatever the Conservation Commission felt about the use of the land and the restrictions on the wetlands, et cetera. But I just feel that, I can't in good conscience, having worked in the budgets for the last few years, just give up $43,000 for some land that's probably landlocked and nobody's ever gonna walk on it or use it for anything. I mean, most people don't give away land. The parcels we get given to the Conservation Commission, for the most part, when these developments come in, are pieces that aren't usable for much of anything, and they don't want to pay taxes on it. So I mean, and I understand that. If I was in that position, I'd be doing the same thing. But it just seems to me that that's an exorbitant amount of money. And like I say, I'd be curious to know how many other parcels of land that have been transferred and fees given up. I think we need to discourage the swapping of land for giving of fees, and I think we can get into a real problem of favoritism and everything else when these things happen, and apparently they've happened in the past, and we certainly haven't been aware of them, or I haven't on this board anyway. So
I thought it was in the venue of the Board of Selectmen, not the Conservation
yeah, I
Department.
think we need to take a look at this in a little more in depth, and at this point I would be opposed to okaying this swap.
Yes, sir.
Barrett McCall, 640 Weathersfield Street. Just is it a correct assumption that if the town was agreed to accept the land, that it would be permanently removed from the tax base?
Yes. I don't know how much taxes that parcel would generate anyway, but it would be removed from the tax base. Sir?
May I ask another question? Greg Cassiotis, 539. I have a question. I was a little surprised that permits were issued without the resolution of this money. Construction has started, the land has been cleared. I don't understand how permits are allowed without money in the bank.
Well, the Conservation Commission voted to accept the donation of land in lieu of the fee, so, you know.
Excuse me. May I make my other point, Mr. Chairman, members of the board? I get an FID card. Okay, it's renewed in July. For me to renew that FID card, I have to get the application, I have to be in compliance. I have to go to the electric department, make sure it's paid. I gotta go to the town treasurer, make sure all my bills are paid. And she's kind enough, I used to have to go to the water department, make sure I was in compliance with that. I don't have to do that, she signs up because I don't get a water bill. This is for $110, what I have to do before I'm issued an FID card. This is a substantial amount of money that permits are allowed. I was taken back by that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, unless there's further discussion, would someone like to make a motion to reject the offer of the 7.6 acres of land?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Motion to reject the offer has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Town has it.
Thanks for coming in.
Jim, and we still have the chapter
Yes,
61.
yes. There's another issue related to this same parcel, the parcel where the solar farm is located. And that has to do with a letter from Principal Assessor Sean McFadden regarding the Chapter 61 forestry land parcel, status of this parcel. The parcel is under Chapter 61 as forestry land, which means that it gets a break in the taxes it pays to the town. And we have a letter from Sean McFadden, our assessor, that states, following a drive-by inspection of 607 Weathersfield Street on Tuesday, December 4, I witnessed the clearing of multiple acres of woodland that are currently assessed under Massachusetts general laws, forestry. I have told you, this is a letter to the Maven Revocable Trust, Bonnie Berkowitz. As I've told you on multiple occasions, while you were in the assessor's office, the procedures for a change/conversion of use from Chapter 61 forestry land requires the following. And then Mr. McFadden quotes extensively from Mass General Laws, which I won't read. And then he goes on to say, please, after quoting state law, he says, please immediately provide the required documentation listed under Mass General Law to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Assessors, Planning Board, Conservation Commission, and State Forester. In accordance with the requirements of the statute, once the Board of Selectmen acts on their right of first refusal, I will then calculate the 5-year rollback penalty due. So what the statute and what Mr. McFadden is saying is that under the statute, if you're in Chapter 61 and you convert your land from forestry land to industrial or commercial land, you're required to provide the town a notice of a right of first refusal. And then the town, within 120 days, gets to decide whether it wants to buy the land. And also, separate from that is if the town doesn't buy the land, the town calculates a rollback penalty. Basically will take back a portion of the fees that the developer or the landowner was able, of the taxes that the landowner was able to avoid by keeping his or her land under Chapter 61. So bottom line is, there was I think it's indisputable, that when all those trees were cleared, there was a conversion of the property which was under Chapter 61 from forestry to commercial property. And so at that point, a notice of intent to convert the property should have been given to the Board of Selectmen, but it wasn't. It may seem like a harmless error to some extent, because I don't think there's any chance that the town's going to buy the property. I mean, I don't think that's an option. But there is the issue of the rollback fee. So what I would like to do is request the assessor to calculate the rollback fee and work with town council in doing that, and just go ahead and calculate that fee, because that's what the town is entitled to do. We could insist on a note that the landowner issue the notice of intent to convert the property, but I think it seems to me we would only do that if we wanted to, if we thought there was a realistic possibility that we would want to purchase the property, and I don't see that we want to do that. So.
Well, my only concern, Mr. Chairman, is in the past, I know we had the Herrick property, the Herrick Farm property, or the Herrick Farm Trust. It's different from the Herrick Farm itself. And they're currently building 5 or 6 houses up there that we didn't get the proper paperwork, and we kept rejecting it because we didn't get the proper paperwork. Once again, to me, it's a matter of if we're requiring some people to do these requirements, that we have to require everyone to do. In other words, we required the Herrick Farm Trust at the time, back 2 or 3, 4 years ago, whenever it was. I know there's been some other issues of property. I just don't see the that the landowner follows the process, so that in our records, we show that the process was properly followed and the law was followed, because otherwise someone could object and literally take us to court, I'm sure. So I think it's important that it might be mainly pro forma, because obviously we're not, like you say, we don't have any ability to buy the land and no intent to buy the land, but at least we need to follow the process. There's 5 pages or 4 pages of state law that's telling us what we need to do and what the homeowner or the property owner needs to do, and I think we should require that to be followed through. If they have an attorney, I don't think it's a big problem. It's just a matter of getting the paperwork, and we're covered, they're covered, and then the assessor can figure out whatever. That's a separate process of the assessor figuring out what the back taxes owed would be.
Yes, it is a separate process.
But I mean, I think we should require the property owner to follow the process, as we've made other people follow the process previous.
Okay, well, can we send a letter to the property owner requesting
it's fine with me.
submission of the
I think we should.
of the notice within 2 weeks? Because, I mean, it's not a big deal, really.
No, I mean, it's pro forma, but I just think it's important that otherwise the next person down the road is gonna say, well, you didn't make those people do it, so why should I have to do it? So I think it's just a matter of making sure we follow. It's important for the town to follow the law as well as the property owners that are involved, not only in this, but other, like the hunting issue with, once we open the door, then, we're opening the door for a lot of problems, so that's all. That's not a big deal, it shouldn't be a big problem, but
No, it shouldn't be a big
I think
problem.
we should require the proper paperwork be submitted.
Make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
So the motion would be to send such a letter to the property owner, and also to request that Sean McFadden calculate the rollback penalty.
Well, he's gotta do that anyway,
He's gotta
so
do that anyway.
I'm more concerned about
Yeah.
that the town administrator or the office staff send a letter. They'll know how the proper wording is, it's been done before.
Right.
And make sure that the paperwork gets submitted in a timely manner, so that we can.
Well, it's untimely now.
I'll second.
Yeah, I
There's
would.
a lot of questions going on, because, I mean, there is a lot of construction going on out there that, with a lot of this stuff
I would
seems
like
to
to
be
ask
up in
for
the
it.
air.
I would like to ask for it in 2 weeks, and.
Yeah, that's fine, whatever timeframe you want, but I just think we should require it.
Yep, okay, motion,
Yeah, I'll make
second?
that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Okay. Old business. Pine Grove School project update.
On Friday afternoon at noon time, several of us donned our hard hats and we walked through the school. And we saw the new kitchen equipment set up. And I was very pleased to see how that's coming along. Everything's being hooked up. There are new freezers that will give additional space to the kitchen staff. They will start serving hot lunches, I believe, in January, right after the holiday break. And so it looks, the school is coming along. We are at 48% completion, and it's taken a long time to get to this point, but there's still a lot of work to be done, but it's coming along. It looks pretty good.
Thank you. Okay, old business number 2, fire station and police station addition. Project is running smoothly. Floors, ceilings, and finish work are being done in the fire station. Construction is well underway in the existing police station.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just a little further update on that. It's expected that the construction of both those buildings should be done probably the second, if not the third week in January. Police will be moving back in full occupancy. Fire department will be ready to move in, but I understand then they may wait until March before they actually do a move. But other than the grounds, the landscaping and the paving, which will be done in the spring, those buildings will be pretty well complete. And right now, if you go by there, you can see they're putting the new entrance on the old police station. And then that whole building will be blended right in with the new building, so that it will all be blended together. So
Great.
it's really coming along well. It's within the budget, well within the budget, and it's within the time frame that we set it up for. And we're very happy with the quality of the construction that's going on out there. So.
We did a walkthrough last week, And I just have to say, it's a very professional building inside, police station. I grew up around one, my dad being a desk sergeant, and it's not my father's police station. This is a very high-tech, professional police station, and I think it's made very advantageous to the town, the way it's set up. I can see other police departments coming and coming into the training room and using the facility. It's gonna be advantageous. It's just the way it's set up. You have a place for reserve officers, you have full-time officers, you have a room for the sergeants, chief, the captain, it's not that little Pizza Hut. It's that we used to have, so.
Both those buildings are, once again, I'll repeat, are geared so the next 50 or 75 years, I think most of us will be gone by then, but the purpose in building these the way we built them was that there's room for expansion, particularly the fire department. I mean, right now there's 3 full-time firefighters. We're going to be hiring 2 more full-time firefighters in the spring. And knowing the obligations that we put on the part-time call firefighters, I would anticipate that within 10 years we may well have 10 or 12 full-time firefighters, because firefighting has become so specialized between hazardous materials and things like that, that these people that are working full-time jobs elsewhere that come in and help us at night and weekends fighting fires, is an awful lot of training that takes place to be qualified, and what it's doing is for the protection of the fire department as well as residents and commercial structures in town. They become experts, whereas a few years back everybody kind of like put on a hat and a coat and jumped in the fire engine and went to the fire. Well, those days are long gone, and for us to sometimes there's only 1, 2, or 3 firefighters available in town because everybody works out of town, the call force, to respond to an alarm, and it's a tough situation. So keep in mind that both those buildings are built for expansion of the departments and the specialization that goes on, and I would anticipate 50, 75 years with proper maintenance, those buildings will be more than adequate for our town.
And the key is, it's under budget.
Yeah, and we're within the budget of what we put in, but it's just nice to knowing what the fire department, if anybody's gone down and seen the fire department where they're located now, it's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace for the last 20 years that they've had to work out of that building.
It was an 1883 pool home, really.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things, not to belabor the point, but we really built these buildings for not only the present, but the future expansion and future needs of the town and for public safety purposes.
And to protect valuable equipment.
Yeah, it's a big investment in public safety.
Okay. Pam, did I miss you on the agenda for some reason?
Yeah, there's new business, number 1.
Oh, we've
that
already-
wasn't covered.
Yeah, we already covered that.
No, it wasn't. You went straight into Weathersfield Street and Taylor Lane.
No, I think I covered it.
No, we covered that.
Okay.
We covered it extensively.
No, I was here.
Scott spoke.
Yeah.
You sent the email.
Yeah.
But we tabled it, so it's not like we'll
Open issues.
take it up again in another meeting.
We're going to read the material. We got some material printed to us.
Okay, I came in when it was about the deer hunting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
you missed it.
We basically put it off, but we're just going to discuss it and read the material that was given to us
You could watch the video if you
and bring it up again at the
Okay,
next
certainly.
meeting.
But I would like to point out to you
Yes.
that with those trucks going through the bridge there's a pothole starting to open up, so, at some stages we'll probably have to start dealing
Which
with
bridge?
issues. The one that goes over the,
Up by the country club, or one of the ones further on towards Route 1?
The culvert.
Not
by the
good.
country club that goes over the,
Okay, I'll take a
no,
look at
really.
it when I go out that
so
way.
that's going out there, and there's a lot of
Okay.
others. My son almost got hit by one of those trucks.
Well, the bridges are
Yeah.
built to
No.
handle the traffic. It's just a matter of,
Yeah.
if there is a maintenance issue, we want to get right on
Mhm.
it anyways.
And it's a 20 mile,
Yeah.
and they do a good 40 to 50 now. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Old business number 3, which is an update on the town hall second floor heating system replacement project. We solicited quotes through the statewide contract for replacement of the non-operational boiler with new oil fire boilers to provide heat to the second floor. Approval was received from the state to proceed with a quote from Johnson Controls in the amount of $49,987. We will prepare a contract for the board to review and vote on during the next week's selectmen's meeting. The budget for this project was $100,000, so that's a good,
That's good news.
yes. But we don't need a vote on that tonight, Debbie, right? Old business number 4 is an update on fire alarm systems and security systems project. We recommend that the Board of Selectmen award the installation of the systems detailed below in the first year of monitoring to Instant Signal and Alarm Company for a total of $18,360. Please also authorize Chairman Pierce to sign the contract, and please see the correspondence for the attached details.
If I could just interrupt you, I've been a customer of Instant Signal for a number of years, well over 20 years, and I'm going to recuse myself.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
The systems of the town hall, the annex, town hall annex library, fire station on Hammond Street, and the highway department, and the security alarm systems for town hall and town hall annex. It's imperative that we move forward as quickly as possible to get these in, so I'll give you a motion to, I guess we don't, not awarding the contract tonight, right? Debbie?
Mr. Chairman, we need to award the contract and then authorize the chairman to sign it when that comes in.
Okay, I'll make a motion to award the contract to Instant Signal and Alarm Company for $18,360.
Second.
Authorize the chairman to sign.
Second.
Okay, the motion to award the contract has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Now, the fun part.
Licenses.
Class 2 dealers license renewals. Liquor license renewals. First one is the Raleigh Veterans Association. The ABCC has reported back that since the RVA did not sign the renewal in the month of November, as required by state law, the license currently issued to the RVA will expire on December 31 of this year. The RVA will need to apply for a new license for 2019. RVA representatives have indicated that they do intend to file an application for a new license. So no action is required for Raleigh Veterans Association. Second thing is discuss setting liquor license renewal fees for the innkeeper license, which would be the new inn. The board has not set a renewal fee for the innkeeper liquor license category. A memo regarding the renewal fees for the other categories of liquor license is attached. So we need to set a fee for the Briar's liquor license. Just a point of clarification, this is the liquor license for inside the hotel, for the guests of the hotel?
This
or
will
the
be the annual renewal fee.
But it's not for the restaurant, or is this something
Yes,
different?
it
The
is.
restaurant and the whole.
Oh, it's the whole thing?
amount.
Okay. Well, we've got a wide variation in fees for the various categories of liquor licenses.
Was it, we know when was the last time we increased the fees, or what,
I
do
think
we
it
know?
was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I mean,
The pouring establishments do require inspection. There's actually a lot more work involved on the municipal level on renewals for pouring establishments. We do have to have them inspected annually by the police, the fire chief and the building inspector. So there's some extra work, so that's why those fees tend to be a little bit higher than the off-premise section, the other sections.
Well, it seems to me this comes closest to on-premise all alcohol pouring. That's what the restaurant essentially is.
Right.
Right.
So it should be the same, right?
yeah, I would recommend, yeah, I feel the same way. It should be 15, 20, and then I think we should take obviously, it's too late now to change the fee structure for this year, I think, but
Right.
I think we need to,
Yeah.
next year, to take a look at the fee structure and see how how we compare with surrounding communities that have similar type establishments.
Okay,
So that
so,
we know, we don't want to be highest, but we don't want to be the lowest either, so.
Right.
They put it somewhere in the middle.
okay, so,
So I'll give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to set the, was it innkeeper's liquor license,
Innkeeper license.
at $1,520.
Second.
the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, so we have a bunch of Class 2 dealers license renewals. And Frank has visited each of these establishments and in some cases come up with issues. So I think we're going to have to go through them one at a time. So the first one is Tim Watkins, DBA Precision Auto, DBA Precision Volvo, 60 Main Street. And if you look at Frank's report, his concerns are drawing on file provided by applicant where vehicles for sale are located needs to be updated with more detail, showing where each of the 15 allowed vehicles will be located. That was number one. Number two, need better separation between vehicles for sale and all other vehicles on the lot. And number three, vehicles not ready for sale need not for sale sticker. So I'm not sure how we deal with these, because presumably these defects have been pointed out to the applicant and maybe they've already been corrected. So how are we supposed to proceed on renewing their license?
I would recommend that, you know, if their concerns, there's no concern with the license other than the drawings and stuff, I think we should renew the license
Okay.
and just ask the
Conditional?
compliance officer to, at his convenience in the next 30, 60 days,
Okay.
to go back and check with the compliance.
Okay.
Because we have strengthened, after we had the issue during the summer when the state police come down and they check these dealerships, so actually what we're trying to do is get ours in compliance with the requirements that the state police have in the auto dealer unit that deals with the licenses. So I think our intent was just to start to bring these people in line with what's required. So we're not looking to punish anybody.
Yeah,
It's just
right,
a matter
right.
of,
It's been pointed out to them and hopefully they'll correct it. Okay, does someone want to make a motion to approve the renewal for Precision Volvo?
yeah,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
The-
opposed? The ayes
Is there
have
any
it.
conditions on that?
Well,
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I think it would be helpful if we clearly convey that. I'm not sure, in some cases when these site inspections were done, the owner wasn't on site, and so I know he's doing the intake as well as the selectmen. So I think if we're making the renewal, that we also have that renewal conditioned upon a follow-up inspection in 2019. I don't think he's gonna have time to go through every single one by the end of this year, in addition to all the other work he's doing. That periodic follow-up on compliance, that this is sent to the owner with
okay.
the signed
Yeah,
license.
that makes sense.
Within, like, say, 60 days, does that sound like it's reasonable, or 90 days?
60 days from January first.
January 1st? In other words,
Unless there's something that draws your concern, but this
Yeah.
is mostly about the placement of the vehicles.
yeah,
and
most of
then
these are
clearly-
relatively minor, but
Clearly
there's
showing whether they're not for sale versus for sale.
a few lemon laws.
So this one, in this case, doesn't seem to be, that's
You want to
serious.
rescind the motion and then come back and vote it again with conditions?
We probably could vote the whole one motion to do all of them with the same,
Conditions?
I think they all have some kind of
Yeah.
conditions. With the
So
conditions.
you want to rescind the motion?
I'll make a motion to rescind the motion.
Yeah, I mean, I'll withdraw the motion, I mean,
Okay.
that's fine. I'm trying to make this easy without, and then not inundate Frank with it.
I think,
I'll withdraw the motion.
I think Atlantic Auto Solutions has a different kind of issue, correct, Debbie?
Yes,
So maybe we should keep that,
yeah, we really would like you to go through though each one.
Each one?
We're not as we said, this was done in response to your concerns, so we've done this thorough inspection, and I don't want to assume that,
Okay, no, we can
All
do
right.
it.
All right.
Okay, so,
So I'll give you a motion then for number one. You can-
Wait a minute, did we vote to,
Did we take a, we didn't vote to
he
rescind?
withdrew the motion, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was
yeah,
Joe's
but we
motion, I
didn't vote
guess.
to,
Yeah, I withdrew.
We
the-
withdrew without, we didn't vote on it, so he withdrew it, so
withdrew.
withdraw in the second.
I would second withdraw.
Yeah, okay, so we should be okay.
Okay, we're okay, so, all right.
So then Precision Auto
With restrictions.
with restrictions to be rectified within 60 days of January 1st. Does that sound all right, Debbie?
yes.
That's your motion? That's
Yeah,
your-
or Joe can make it appear. I don't want to steal his
Second.
motion.
That's my motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed, the ayes have it. The second one is Donald Savory and Mark Savory, DBA Bay Road Auto Sales. And again, there seem to be the same conditions with two new ones that don't seem like they're, they're fairly minor stuff.
Well, they haven't returned any calls either, so.
Mr. Chairman, we're still waiting actually for the renewal paperwork, so let's hold this one if we could please till
Okay.
next week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting for the bond.
Well, that makes it easy.
And while you're number 8 is also the Savory and Savory Bay Road Auto. I recommend we put a hold on that one too
Okay.
then.
Okay, the third one is Thomas Boucher, DBA Boucher's Automotive Machine Shop. And the current concern was the same concern, drawing on file provided by applicant needs to be updated. No other concerns, so that's one.
I'll give you a motion to renew it with the stipulation of a 60-day January 1st compliance.
Motion's been made. Any seconds?
Second.
And seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Next one is Salvatore LaFauci, DBA Auto Pro Collision Center. Similar concerns. 5 vehicles not ready for sale, need not for sale sticker. So I think we can,
Yeah, same motion for that one, Mr. Chairman.
any second?
With concerns, right?
Yeah.
In other words, correction within 60 days.
You got a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion to renew Auto Pro Collision Center has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Next one is Geno's Collision Center.
Mr. Chairman, this one needs to be held until next week. We don't have the complete renewal paperwork,
Okay, yeah.
including proof of bond and sketch.
Okay, so we'll hold Geno's. Next one was Raphael Ray's, DBA JR Ray's Transportation and Truck Center. Similar type concerns.
She updated that.
All seem to have the same issue.
Same issue, I'll give you same motion, Mr. Chairman, 60-day correction.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Next one is Mark Owlett, DBA M&J Foreign Cars. Same, one issue about the drawing.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
A motion to renew M&J Foreign Cars has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it.
That's the same motion with the 60-day correction.
Right. Bay Road, next one is Bay Road Auto Sales, which we're holding. Next one is Frank Iovanella and James Price, DBA Car Lines. Very similar issues.
I'll give you the motion to approve with
Conditions?
conditions.
Any seconds?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. Next one is Daria Litvana, DBA Auto Imports Unlimited. Similar conditions.
I'll give you the motion.
Motion to,
Approve with conditions.
Second.
motion to renew Auto Imports Unlimited has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it.
Aye.
Next one is Josephine Borstein, DBA D&D Auto Sales. All concerns were addressed. So you don't need conditions.
Well, give your motion to approve.
Any seconds?
Second.
Motion to approve D&D Auto Sales been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Edward Della Iacano, DBA Atlantic Auto Solutions, is more complicated. There was a report from Frank, a site visit on November 28. After walking through the lot with the owner, Dana Bornstein, he discovered that a few of the vehicles did not have yellow lemon law stickers displayed in the window. It was also discovered that some of the stickers had fallen off the windows and were found on the seat below the window. The owner was asked to check all the vehicles for sale and attach or reattach the stickers. I also asked him to organize the lot so it would be clearer which vehicles were for sale. When asked to have this done within 2 weeks, he stated it would be done within a couple of days. On December 3rd, 2018, a follow-up site visit was conducted. The vehicles were more organized and all had the proper stickers posted. In addition, not for sale stickers were added to the vehicles, not ready for sale, and separated out. It is my opinion this matter has been addressed and corrected. Debbie, wasn't this the issue?
Mr. Chairman, you're actually reading part of the attachment for D&D, not Atlantic Auto.
Oh, okay, good. I'm sorry.
Atlantic Auto, the renewal paperwork is complete, but there is somebody who came with an arbitration issue to the board, a complaint
Right.
on that. And there were a few things identified by regulatory compliance, and that was a couple of cars without the lemon law stickers were not ready for sale, to be moved and marked not for sale until it was displayed, which is a requirement for the state police.
So someone filed a lemon law complaint against this
That's right.
this
And that-
company, and the arbitrator ruled in their favor that it was a lemon law violation and awarded this person $8,550. And the person is asking the Board of Selectmen to hold Atlantic Auto Solutions, hold their dealer's license because he has not been paid in accordance with the decision. Debbie referred this to our Tom Mullen, who responded by email. Tom recommends that we issue a notice to the dealer, Edward Del Iacano of Atlantic Auto Solutions, informing him that the selectmen have received a complaint and that the selectman wishes to hear both sides. The notice would request him to attend a meeting. If he doesn't appear, then the selectman can hold a formal revocation hearing. So I'll read
I'm a little reluctant, Mr. Chairman, to get involved in civil actions
I was reluctant
with
too.
these car dealers.
Initially.
I think that that's an issue between Mr. Edwards and that particular dealership. Because he complies with the law otherwise, I think that's a legal issue
But
that if we start getting involved in, we're getting a lot of complaints if people aren't happy with a used car they bought, and then if we revoke the license for one or suspend it.
yeah, that was my first reaction too, that it's a private matter, not something that
Yeah,
we
it's
would
not
get
something
involved
that-
with.
And the lemon law, Mr. Chairman, provides a mechanism for appealing, which this party did follow through on with an arbitration from the state. So now he's trying to recover that, and, we were of the position that under the state lemon law, the arbitration process is provided for, and there
Right.
should be some mechanism from the state to enforce that, not the municipality.
Right. Yeah, I would.
And to see what Tom actually says about this, he says, Debbie, I'd be reluctant to have the selectmen simply say that a dealer has to pay a claimant or face non-renewal, suspension or revocation. We can't let the board become a tool of private litigants. On the other hand, one of the reasons for the licensing regime is to ensure good business practices on the part of the used car dealers. So, and then Tom suggests what I just read, that we tell the applicant that we want to hear both sides and essentially hold a hearing on it.
So then what?
I'm not sure,
I guess if we hear
Tom's
both,
not telling us we have to do that.
No.
Yeah,
and if we hear both sides, then we become a judge of.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
we just tell him to pay. If he doesn't pay, then what? I mean, to me, it's the courts are there to settle these disputes. And
yeah, no, I agree.
I think we should just issue the license and if we want to attach a letter,
That was the whole idea of the arbitrator.
recommend, yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there's a whole process under the lemon law, and,
Oh.
you know, I think for us to get involved, start getting involved in disputes
Right.
and becoming a judge, or I don't know what we would become, because the judges, the board has already, some board, arbitration board has already made a decision. It's just a matter of, I guess he has to go to civil court and
Yeah.
order the payment of the fine, which has
Enforce the
nothing to do
decision.
with us, or the fee for the.
Mr. Chairman, part of when the Commonwealth of Massachusetts then required municipalities to accept the bonds was because of the lemon law. So that has sort of become our responsibility now to collect them. And we have provided the bond information to the complainant in this matter. And that's the reason why these auto deals are required to hold a $25,000 bond, is to handle the decisions if they're adjudicated in a way that are not favorable to the dealer. They have the mechanism to pay the claimant.
Okay, so we need a motion to.
His bond is up to date in this case.
Oh, great.
I'll make a motion just to approve.
So this would be without conditions, because otherwise he's totally in compliance.
Yeah,
Except for the vehicles.
give you that motion.
Is there,
I'll second.
is it with conditions, Debbie? I thought he'd corrected everything.
No, on Atlantic Auto, the drawing on file by the applicant where vehicles for sale are located needs to be
Oh, okay.
updated for more detail, showing where each of the 30 allowed vehicles will be located if at full capacity. And there are a couple of cars without the required lemon law stickers that are not ready for sale. And they need to be moved and marked not for sale.
All right, I'll
That's
make my motion with conditions,
for the 60-day from January 1st.
With conditions,
with conditions.
second.
Okay, the motion to renew Atlantic Auto Solution has been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Dale and Roy Ducra, DBA Rowley Auto Brokers. Debbie, I'm totally lost in this packet.
He doesn't wish to renew. I just want to make a, I mean, I don't know these people, but I know they've been in town for, Bob probably knows, many, many years selling used cars in that dealership. They've always had a great reputation and done a great job over there on Cross Street. You know, nothing we can do about it, but it's one of those places that's a low-key business that's done a great job over the years.
Yeah, I've noticed there hasn't been cars there for
Yeah.
a long time, right? So
Yeah, they were selling out of their house, basically,
Yeah.
is what it was.
So he doesn't wish to
He
renew?
does not wish to renew, so we don't have to take any action.
Oh,
But it's
that's
just,
good.
I just like to commend the man for doing a good job all these years. I know people that have bought cars, they have been very happy with it. So,
Okay.
sorry to see him go.
Okay, we'll move on to Class 3 dealers license renewals. First one is Michael Bontos, DBA Rowley Auto Parts. And his renewal paperwork is complete. And there's again a letter from Frank with some conditions. One condition. Okay, so I want to make a motion to approve with conditions?
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The second one is Don Savory and Mark Savory, DBA Rowley Auto Salvage, Inc.
No paperwork, so hold that one.
Hold.
Oh, okay, we hold that one. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Nope, we have
Got
one
the
more.
auto auction renewal.
Oh, okay. The auction renewal for Michael Bontos, DBA Rowley Auto Parts. Any issues with that, Debbie?
The man's
No,
never
other
there.
than, you know, when Frank did the site visit, the gate was closed, there's no sign except
No what?
no sign. It was the same observant things he did it from last year. The gate was closed, there's no sign, but he's up to date with all his,
Yeah.
And he applied for renewal?
I live up that way, and they bring cars in, and their cars are in and out of there all the time. I don't think he really does any selling out of there, but he delivers cars to here, there, and everywhere, so. It's generally, there's nobody up at that location normally on a day-to-day basis.
and so there was no issues other than he observed that the gate was closed, which is observed every year. There's no sign.
Maybe we should send him a note in his license renewal that call Frank and see Frank. See Frank, so we know the man's alive. But I mean, it's one of those cases where I don't think in the last 2 or 3 years, he brings a renewal in all the time, but Frank, I don't think Frank's seen him, just because the gate's locked and he, like I say, he brings, I've seen new cars going in and out of there, so he's doing business there, it's just,
The idea is that Frank will show up.
Yeah, okay.
Unannounced. So that's keeping with, you know, the spot check activity that we have regulatory compliance doing. And so when he goes there, it happens to be the same time of year for the renewals in November, and it's always locked and closed. If you would like him to make an appointment for an inspection,
Yeah.
I think Frank will follow that.
yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if he just, you know,
Okay.
I think it's all legitimate, it's just that, you know, Frank needs to be able to do his job too.
Okay, so motion with condition?
Yeah, I'll give you a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, I think that's our agenda. Announcements. January 14, 2019 special town meeting has been canceled. Toys for Tots drop-off box located at Rowley Town Hall.
When did they pick up, Deb?
They said that over this week they would be picking it up.
Over this week, they'll pick them up? Okay.
The town has the following vacancies: Agricultural Commission Associate, Cultural Council, Fence Viewer, 3 positions, Wood Lumber and Bark Inspector, Zoning Board of Appeals Associate, 2 seats, and Deputy Shellfish Constables, 2 positions. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectman's office at 948-2372. The Rowley Food Pantry is in need of donations. Donations can be left at the Rowley Public Library. The food pantry is open on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and on Thursdays from 5:30 to 7 p.m.
Give me a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Any second?
Second.
Motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.